I saw you guys dancing in the chat. All right, what is up?
I was
That
just
was
thinking that intro is way more dramatic than we are. I
oh
don't.
well, we can fix that. I am halfway through one of my favorite bottles of red wine. We can definitely fix that. But welcome, thank you, thank you. It has been quite a day. And how you doing, Brad?
Yeah, you're right. It's been a day. There's
It's been
all
a
kinds of stuff
day.
going on in the real world, and but
Yes.
let's have a little escape here and have some
Yeah,
fun.
I think I've between me guesting on Two Med Two's show, I think on Monday, and then the surprise drop of the Mandalorian, we did a Scarif Live on was it Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday, I was on with Andrew and Marisha on Wednesday. I took a day off, and here we are back in front of the camera this Friday for another edition of Scarif Live. It has been, it's been kind of really cool. If we can do this full time and kind of hang out and talk Star Wars and be geeky with all our friends over at the Red 5 Network, I would be so happy. This is
Oh yeah.
fantastic.
Yep. I mean, and it's a good wrap up to the week because on Tuesday, after we got done with that show, I mean, Tuesday felt like Friday for me.
Yeah.
I was already done with the week by that time, but 3 more days. But here we are. We're good. We're in one piece.
Awesome. And thank you guys in the chat. Thank you very much for your patience. I know we started a little late, but we are here now having some fun. This is a very interesting topic. Welcome to a very special edition of Scarif Live. This will be episode number 38. Not to be confused with number 37, which was basically was that episode, and I'm hoping that you listened to it. We had an awesome discussion with Andre from Backseat Directors. If you hadn't had a chance to listen, I encourage you guys to download that show. We talked about that very, very exciting movie theater experience, Brad. Looks like my favorite Star Wars movie is coming to theaters again, September 25th. I cannot wait to embark on yet another exciting theatrical journey to a galaxy far, far away. I know
You
a
want
lot of
some
people.
depressing news? I might
What?
not be able to go
Oh no! Oh, that's right.
because because of all the COVID crap. So, and of course, I've never seen it in theaters. I don't think they. Well, no, wait. I'm trying to think. I may have seen that.
I
No,
don't
I don't
think
think I ever saw
I
that
didn't
one.
see I didn't see it in theaters.
Uh,
I missed it.
yeah. So I think I
Tragedy.
might miss it again unless they. Do you know how long they're going to be playing it for?
I think it was just that one day.
Oh no.
Yeah, the 25th, September 25th. But you
Oh,
know what? I mean, I'm sure they'll roll that out, and I'm expecting them to maybe announce them doing the same thing to Return of the Jedi, which is your favorite
yep.
original trilogy film. So that would be a really cool and fun thing to do. Hello, everybody in the chat. People are just jumping in. Thank you guys for joining us. But I've been working a lot today on the Red 5 Network website, kind of streamlining some things, adding some things. And folks, if you guys, remember last time we were live, we talked about our Dark Saber contest, and we've gotten some really good responses. We've got some really great tweets, and good luck to everybody that has gone to red5network.com. If you pull down on the HoloNet transmission tab and follow the directions in the Dark Saber giveaway contest, answer the Sentry Mode questions, and you can win one of these.
This thing's too cool.
Dark Saber from The Mandalorian, and good luck to you all. This is really cool. Death Star Dispatch had one, and he did a nice little, post in the dark. I still haven't taken mine out of the box, but I will eventually. But
I think the popularity of the dark saber has grown over the
I
last
think
couple of
so
years
too.
too.
I think so too. I think so too. But like I said, I've been working on the website all most of the day, creating graphics for tonight's show. Added two more T-shirt designs in our T Public, and everybody go to our T Public site, our store, because we've got not only do we have the Scarif Scuttlebutt stuff, we have two new designs from the Scarif Scuttlebutt. Somebody had mentioned that they love that George Lucas, without,
Direct quote.
remember, there is, without what was it? Without the
Without the
scuttle.
skull, there can be no butt.
Yeah, so we got that design. Hopefully, we don't get sued by Mr. Lucas, but it's all in good fun.
He is
But
one of our followers.
he's one of our followers, exactly. So,
Yeah.
head on down there. Besides Scarif podcast stuff, we also have some T-shirt designs from some of our Red 5 members, like Pizza and Parsecs and Salty Nerd podcast. Some of their designs are really awesome, so go check them out. And I think everything is on sale. So what a great time, a great opportunity to kind of, help support the Scare podcast. We appreciate everything that you guys do. Your tweets, your retweets, your interaction. It's Brad, since we started this, it's been a dream come true. I got to tell you.
And did you know that fulcrum symbol for Pizza and Parsecs? Did you know that was the marking on Ahsoka's forehead? Did you know that?
I knew that. That's why I gave you.
Can you
I
believe
gave you some
there's some
shit
people
online.
out there that did not know that? They call
what are
themselves
these
Star
people?
Wars fans. Not true Star Wars fans.
Not true. Not true. What?
Good thing I
heck
knew
is
that.
their problem. So exactly. So before we bring out the ladies of Force of Light, Michelle and Natalie, I wanted to, tonight's topic is it's a good one. It's about friendship and love in Star Wars. We kind of I think early on we had made some references to shipping, if
Yeah.
you recall. So I think the only shipping I do is with FedEx and UPS. So I don't know what that's all about, but
You're not a Raylo? You're not a Raylo?
we can talk about that. I mean,
I think we should. Yeah, that just
we
popped in
should
my head,
definitely
so I
popped
think we
in-
should. Yeah.
I think we definitely should talk about that. But
Is it weird? Is it normal? I don't know.
I don't know. We're just gonna have to ask the ladies.
Yeah, we'll let them tell us.
We'll let them tell us. But here's the thing. Friendship in Star Wars. I mean, it started early. You see R2 and 3PO. Friends through the thick of things. A little. Star Wars has a very definite message when it comes to camaraderie and friendship and love and stuff like that. It's obviously it's a story about a family, somewhat dysfunctional, but it is a family. And speaking of family, I wanted to mention something that's related to tonight's topics. I was sent this box from one of our patrons, and I want to say thank you to all our patrons because they really support us and help us. But it's interesting because we give our patrons something, we send stuff out, but this time I got this from a patron. I have no idea what it is. And I wanted to ask your permission, Brad, if I can open it on tonight's Scarif Live and do a live opening of this wonderful thing. That,
I forgot a couple times to thank Coruscant Radio Underground the other day on our other show. They sent me that T-shirt the other day, and I tell you what, there's nothing like you go to the mailbox and then there's something there, and it's something so cool like one of their T-shirts. So send people stuff. We need more gifting to people.
I love it. It's nice. You come home after a hard day of tweeting about Star Wars, and then you have this nice box. And I do want to say that this patron swag is from one of our patrons, and I know you guys know him. It's Nicholas Schaefer. Backyard TARDIS. He was recently on a show with Andrew and Marisha over at the ScienceFictionary.com talking about the Pillars of Fantasy, another
that's awesome
member of our Red 5 network family. But if you guys love fantasy and sci-fi, hit them up over there. But let's see what this is, guys. Any guesses in the chat room? Uh-oh, I see the word Funko. This is turning into a two-man two-show. Uh-oh. All right. Let's check this out. Which Funko is it? Oh man. Ready, guys?
Oh, you're good at the reveal thing.
Wait, let's go this way. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Uh-oh. Darth Vader. Woo! Look at that.
Oh,
Oh man.
well, that's a nice one.
That is beautiful. That is Funko Pop Darth Vader. Oh, the Ralph McQuarrie pre-visualization.
That's what it looked like.
Oh,
They actually
nice
made it look like that. All right, you can keep that. If it was an Ewok, it was coming my way, but it's Vader, so you
That
can keep it over
is
there.
nice. So that's gonna sit right next to Vader, and
That's awesome. I've not seen that one.
Nicholas, thank you so much. Nicholas Schaefer, Backyard TARDIS. If you guys don't know him, I'm sure you know him. He's one of many of our super fans.
That's
Not
badass.
only us, but a lot of the other podcasts as part of the Red 5 Network. Thank you guys so much. This is beautiful. And I guess I'll ask Michael over at 2Med2 if I should take it out of the box, but I am not one of those take out of the box guys. I know you know that, Brad, but
Yeah.
it just looks nice. I mean, the packaging is half the fun for me. This is really nice.
Well, I just ran out of room to take them out, so that's why I'm keeping them in the boxes now, just because I ran out of room.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. All right, let's get down to business. What are we talking about? Let's bring in Force of Light Entertainment and have them entertain us. But here we go. Ladies, how are you?
All right, we'll drink and they talk. Okay.
Yeah, doing good. Glad to be here. The one thing I will say is I didn't know that you could see me dancing during the countdown.
Oh yeah, we were. I was doing that too.
Good to know.
It's a really good stuff.
Very, very humble. I don't know why. I was just feeling that countdown music.
Yeah, definitely.
It was getting me in the zone, you know?
We look professional and stuff.
Excellent. Let's see who's in the chat. Amanda, I know we were talking about this earlier. Thank you, Amanda, for waiting for us. I know we started a little late. Who else is in there? Everybody. Mr. Rez, Vader's Girl, 28, Semper Fi. Danny, how is everybody?
Phasma's there.
Let's see. Oh, we got the Cam and Brittain show. Hello, guys. Excellent. So, Brad, I know you guys were three of you guys were talking about tonight's topic, and like I said earlier, Star Wars is full of not only love relationships but friendship, and it's kind of refreshing to see the wholesomeness of these types of relationships that we know from Star Wars, from a galaxy far, far away. Brad, is there anything you want to tell us about Star Wars relationships? How do you see them? We're all about relationships here at the Red 5 Network, and here we are with our friends Natalie and Michelle talking about this topic, and it's something that's it's really interesting. I think we can kind of break it down a little bit tonight, because you think about the word relationships, and the ones really that come to mind obviously is Han Solo and Princess Leia, but there's all sorts of relationships from Luke and Mara Jade, and you've got as I mentioned earlier, R2 and 3PO. What do you think, Brad?
Well, see, you said Han and Leia. I was actually thinking Han and Chewie, to tell you the truth, as one of the best relationships there. But relationships with Star Wars, it's one of those things. If they get it right, it's amazing. If they get it wrong, it's absolutely horrible. I can't really think of any. I mean, maybe as we talk, something will jog my memory. I can't think of too many horrible ones in the original trilogy, anything that just didn't work. But I think both the prequel and the sequel trilogy had very much hit or miss relationships. I think both trilogies had some really good relationships. Even the sequel trilogy, I think some of the Poe and Finn or Finn and Rey, I think it did have some good relationships. But the ones that were forced, either in the prequel trilogy, which I think includes Padme and Anakin, and then the sequel trilogy, whatever was going on with Finn and Rose, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably the worst kiss, on-screen kiss that I've ever seen in my life. So it's fun. They either do it really well or really there's no middle ground, I don't think, with Star Wars and relationships.
Can I just say, I feel like the kiss between Finn and Rose, you almost feel like Finn felt it was painful too.
Oh yeah, there was nothing. There was no return on that one. That was just, where did that come from? You stole my glory.
And I'm sure in our youth we've had that kiss, and we've had to have given somebody that what do you call it, that pity kiss? Sorry to say, but yeah, what do you guys think about friendships in Star Wars? I know we talked about Han and Chewie, but I think those friendships are really strong. I mean, if you're talking about the kind of the non-romantic relationships in Star Wars, R2-3PO, Chewie, Han, even Lando and Lobot. I mean, obviously there's a friendship there. Natalie, Michelle, what do you guys think about friendship in a galaxy far, far away?
Well, I'll say first of all, I think that really friendships in Star Wars is kind of like the heart of it, I think it's one of the most important things about it, and the things that that we the viewers love is the relationships and these friendships and the way they will sacrifice for one another and help one another out. I think that's one of the greatest things about all of Star Wars.
Yeah, definitely. And if you think of it, I know we'll go to Brad's favorite Star Wars movie. In Return of the Jedi, the Emperor tells Luke that his trust or his faith in his friends will be his undoing. And it's the exact opposite. Like, it's his faith in his friends that they all together work together and bring down this mighty galactic empire. So I think one of the main themes that I see in Star Wars is basically, on this greater purpose and mission in life, you have to have friends help you along the way. Like, no one, even Luke, the Jedi, can accomplish it on his own. Like, we need one another, and we have to come together to accomplish those goals. So I see that being a main goal. And then let's just be real. Had these relationships, whether it's R2 and C-3PO, whether it's Chewie and Han, then ultimately Luke and Han, because they form a diehard bromance by the time Empire starts. I mean, it'll make me laugh almost. They have a scene where they just were like
the love is just so between them.
And in fact, it's Han that breaks the ice of not even speaking. For a moment, it's just them staring at each other, and it's like they don't even need to say it. They have an I know moment with one another in those moments. So it's all these different relationships that truly, I think, even in the original trilogy, that's what sold people. Like, yes, there was all this other stuff, but it was this dynamics between these characters, and with Leia added in, and it just, so to me, friendship is just at the heart of Star Wars, really.
And I think one of the best moments you were talking about how friendships made things work and how they got things done. I think it was one of the best moments in The Rise of Skywalker was when they were talking to Lando, and they're like, "How the hell did you do this?" And Lando was like, "We had each other." And I mean, he summed up the OT like just with that one sentence. We had each other, and that was it. Like, nailed it. That's, and you nailed it. With that line in Return of the Jedi. Faith in your friends. That's all they had, and it worked, like you said. And I agree, Ro. Let's get the chat. Feel free to ask some questions. This will be a lot more fun the more interactive questions we get from the chat tonight. So feel free to send them our ways.
Yeah, I put up Amanda's comment here. Relationships include family. She talks about Luke and Leia's relationship as siblings, and it was great to explore. I don't think they did enough of that in the original trilogy, and I know they touched on it a little bit in the sequel trilogy. Obviously, these characters are rooted deep in our hearts and our souls, and it would have been really fantastic to kind of see the siblings interact with each other in a deeper level. But we didn't get that, unfortunately. But I think that's where this ancillary material comes in handy. The comic books and the novels, and you're able to maybe see what we couldn't see in the films a little bit more fleshed out. I think Luke and Leia's relationship as siblings, as Amanda says, is an important part of the saga. I think obviously the films didn't do it justice. There's a limiting aspect to filmmaking and the actors' availability, and obviously Carrie Fisher passing away. But the books and the novels and the comic books, those are things that when done well, I think really can explore those things. What do you guys think about that? And anything come to mind, Brad? I know you're a big reader and a big fan of the expanded universe, prior to the Disney sale. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the books go, one of the best examples of that and showing a deeper relationship is Matt Stover's novelization of Revenge of the Sith, which if you haven't read that, it's an amazing read. Still canon, still counts. And he showed the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin and how they were so close, like, basically finishing each other's sentences. And they knew what each other was thinking the entire time. And it immediately, I like the first scene. I like the opening scene. That's one of the most beautiful opening scenes in the entire saga. But his description of that and just talking about their deep relationship, he really nails it, which makes it that much more heartbreaking at the end with Anakin's betrayal of Obi-Wan and the rest of the Jedi Order. Like, you are just absolutely crushed because these guys really were brothers. And there's actually an extra line in the novel, if I remember correctly. When Obi-Wan says, you were my brother, Anakin, I loved you. If I remember correctly in the novelization, he says, but I couldn't save you. And they didn't include that in the movie. Kind of wish they had. But the books, you talked about even Lando and Lobot, in the comic books too, they have a lot of good description of Lando's and Lobot's relationship, much more than you see in Empire Strikes Back. One question, we're going to, talk about the prequel trilogy and, Anakin and Padme, but I kind of wanted Force of Light's opinion on the Jedi's policy, since it more falls under the religious context, which I think we're having more of a sort. I call the Jedi's the Catholics of the Star Wars universe. The Jedi's policy of not having intimate relationships, and whether you think that did possibly, obviously contribute to Anakin's fall, but maybe help contribute to the fall of the entire Jedi Order of now not allowing attachment of any kind.
Yeah, I would go with yes. I mean, obviously, I'm not. I've many Catholic, or love my Catholic brothers and sisters, but I find it very problematic.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, there's plenty of people in the course of time who have felt that devoted or genuinely happy being alone, and that's great if that's
your personal conviction.
Yes, but it's also been disastrous too. So I definitely think so, and that's why, because you guys brought up Mara Jade, which I've actually never really read that type of material. I was one to ask you guys, especially as Luke Skywalker fans, and Brad, since you have read a lot of that material, were you kind of sad when they did the sequel trilogy to find out they made Luke keep to the old Jedi code, apparently, or at least we think from what we see, and not have any significant other?
Well, yeah, in a way, but at least they do touch on it a little bit. I mean, heir to the Jedi, I mentioned that the other day on the Mandalorian episode. He almost has a relationship with the female protagonist in that one, and he one of the novelizations of the sequels. He has a dream that he was married, but it ends up being nothing. It was just like his imagination. But yeah.
That happens to me too.
Yeah, but I like the way the Legends did. I like the way the Legends handled that. They handled his relationship with Mara Jade and some of the Corran Horn, his relation. Finding out that his father, who was a Jedi, had a relationship, and they talked about that sort of thing. Maybe Luke wouldn't have been so old and bitter had he been able to find some relationship, some attachment there in that 30 years. And not been so cold as he was in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, love might have helped him out there.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I have kind of a funny Mara Jade thing. Okay, so I actually didn't know about her, especially years ago when somebody told me this because I hadn't read the books. But I was being checked out at CVS by a very nice gentleman, and he said, "You know who you look like? You look like Luke Skywalker's wife, Mara Jade." He said, "If I could imagine her in real life, she'd look like you." And I was like, cool, I'm Luke Skywalker's wife.
Time to start rocking the purple lightsaber.
Right.
Yeah.
Michelle's like, she's not in canon, Natalie.
She's not now.
Burst my bubble.
No, Mara was a kick-ass character, and they did that really well though. Like, even though they were married, it didn't take away from her character at all. She was a badass in her own right, and she was at least equals with Luke the entire time. That's why so many people that read Legends love and miss her so much, is even though they had a deep relationship, she was a badass, and the kids that they all had, Jason and Jaina and Ben. They were all great characters too, and that's why a lot of people miss them from the sequel trilogy, because they made some really awesome characters. So the cycle did continue in Legends as far as the family relationships go, but we didn't get to see a lot of that because of the way they handled the sequels.
Yeah. Well, and I want to say too, on the subject, as my brain is thinking, it's late. My brain may just spit things out randomly.
It's true.
But back, as I said about the original trilogy and how I believe friendship and those connections, those relationships is what hooked people into this trilogy and made it what it is. I also would have to say, as I became a teenager, one of the things that truly made me love even more, deepen my love even more to the original trilogy, was Han and Leia. And I am a firm believer, if that Han and Leia relationship didn't work, it's one of my favorite relationships in all of movies, honestly, their relationship. Had it not worked to such the extent that it did, giving us this incredible iconic scene of "I love you, I know," had it not worked on that level, I don't think Star Wars would be as big as it is today. And I know that may sound ridiculous, but I think all these things coming together, it's just like the stars aligned for the Star Wars, the OT trilogy, and it's why we're still talking about it all these years later.
Yeah. Hey, Ro, can you throw up? It's a couple. It's up a little bit in the chat, but Danny had a comment about. We were mentioning the Catholic Church and attachment, and this is something that has grinded my gears, as Peter would say, for a while. I really hate how they treat Anakin in the Phantom Menace, just tearing this kid apart because he misses his mother. How wrong could you be? Of course he misses. Like, why would he? And let's say you people are supposed to be about love and compassion, and you can't have empathy for this kid that he's 9 years old. His mother is the only person that he's had, the entire time. She's protected him from the slave owners, from the Hutts, from Watto, Tatooine itself. And they just chastise him for missing his mother. Ro knows what I'm saying.
Those people.
Those people, they sealed the deal in episode 1. With that first interaction with him going to the dark side. Yes, I'm about personal responsibility. Yes, it was ultimately him, but the Jedi Council sealed the deal with that first interaction that they had with him.
Yeah, it really chaps your hide, Brad. I remember talking about this on a previous show, yeah, and again, not making excuses, but I think the Jedi Council, obviously, when they take a child from its family, a Force-sensitive child, they grow up not knowing their family, and I think they were kind of taken at a disadvantage. This is how they deal with that sort of separation. But the fact that 9-year-old Anakin was too old to begin the training. Because of that, I think that kind of, like you said, set the stage for, these decisions kind of, snowball into such a weird effect of disillusion with this kid, Anakin, which kind of, started to, snowball, this snowball effect, making wrong decisions and attachment and feeling, certain ways about the Jedi Council, questioning his choices that were made for him. And these are choices that, he didn't have the freedom to make these choices on his own. And obviously, when babies are taken away from their families, they don't have that choice either. But as they grow older within the system, something changes in them that by the time they get to Anakin's age, they don't question it. It's just part of how they grew up. And Anakin didn't grow up that way. He, like you said, he missed his mother. He had these feelings that none of the other Jedi kids had because they were very different.
And I'm going to disagree with from a certain point of view in the chat. I don't think he was too old to begin the training. I think they should have just not cut off that attachment with his mother. What was the downside? So Legends kind of went into this. I can't think of any canon material that really talks about the attachment too much. Obviously, the Master and Apprentice, the Claudia Gray books talk about it a little bit, but the Legends talked about it more. The Jedi were afraid that these attachments would lead them down the dark side if, your lover was threatened or held hostage. You would forget your Jedi vows and do whatever you had to do to, save your loved one. But I just don't see the logic in not letting him have some at least limited form of attachment with his mother.
Well, yeah, and I think that it's like that is, like you said, at age 9, and like that's all he's ever known. I mean, I think that is most definitely kind of traumatizing. She's been his protection and the closest person to him in his life. So, I mean, and once again, like you said, it's not that we make excuses for people but, our childhoods and things like that, they do certainly potentially affect us and the choices we make later in life. So, yeah, if they maybe would have just let him have some time with her and stuff, it's like it might have been a different result.
Well, and I want to say that Luke, they pretty much give Obi-Wan and Yoda kind of give Luke their version of this same speech in The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke has seen these visions of Han and Leia in pain and he wants to go to them, and they're saying, Yoda's like, no, if they die, kind of like if they die, they die, like you can't go. And Luke is like, heck no, like these are my friends, this is my family, and I'm going. And of course, I think it was a good thing he went ultimately, and you see that it's his family and Leia that ultimately saves him at the end of the movie because of their deep connection and attachment to one another. So I think Luke's kind of, again, the antidote to what happens in the prequels, and it's kind of like, no, I'm not doing it that way.
And unfortunately, at least according to The Last Jedi, Luke really, that was one of the few lessons that he actually paid attention to. Because he basically taught Rey the same thing, where it was not. Are you listening to some cool beats, Ro, or what are you doing?
No, you said The Last Jedi, so
that's not the way covering your ears works, Ro.
He's about to DJ.
especially in the novelization of The Last Jedi, there's a whole segment about not getting involved and let the universe just work itself out the way it's supposed to work out. And I don't think Luke, in his heart of hearts, actually agrees with that. Luke is the type to automatically just jump right in there and get involved. So it's sad that he actually listened on that one.
And Danny's got a point here, regarding the Jedi interfering with the will of the Force and how the Force proceeded to spend 6+ movies kind of restoring the balance. We talked a little bit about that and how, it's dangerous to assign, assign not blame, but just assign conviction to a force of energy like that. We talked about that with Alex regarding, was the Force acting on rebalancing the galaxy by destroying, the Jedi and then bringing balance back to the Force? It was, it's an interesting topic, to say the least. But we always go back to that. We don't think that, for lack of a better word, God destroys, this because it's a bad thing, or the Force does, wipes out half of the population of the galaxy just to kind of bring the galaxy back into balance. We talk a lot about that in previous episodes. I don't think that's how the Force works. At least, if we're going to equate the Force with kind of the Force on the religious aspect, the Force of God, I don't think that's how God works. Just to kind of, it doesn't make sense to me, but it's an interesting topic nonetheless. Because I don't know, it's like I said, it's kind of a dangerous precedent to say that happens, because then you can justify almost anything to that logic.
Well, and something I was thinking of, and I know I really need to go back and watch the prequels. It's been too long. But something I think, Michelle, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've kind of implied to me before, that kind of like when Anakin was coming up, those set of Jedis and stuff, they were a little more dogmatic.
Well, definitely. That's what we're saying. They had all these rules that weren't willing to bend.
And there wasn't really enough balance. And, and like you said, bringing in the religious side of things, it's kind of like when you have families or people that grow up in very dogmatic, fundamentalist homes, it's not very balanced and often causes the kids to rebel and stuff like that, or want to go a different way because it wasn't a pleasant experience growing up. And so I think that's kind of the same thing that they were maybe dealing with growing up in that atmosphere, the younglings or something, because there wasn't enough freedom and letting the Force move, or, in the church's case, just letting the Holy Spirit move and let that guide you.
About these Zero and Cy Snoodles comments, say what you want to about that relationship, but that was a fun little arc in the Clone Wars, and mostly because it had Quinlan Vos in it, and it had Obi-Wan Kenobi working with Quinlan Vos. So those were some great episodes. So don't knock the Zero and Cy Snoodles, even though she had one of the most annoying voices that they could have possibly come up with for that. But one of the most, this might be, probably get off the whole baby thing here in a little bit, but one of the creepiest arcs of the Clone Wars, and they kind of repeated this in Rebels, was, the Sith going around and stealing babies. And I think they ended up taking them to Mustafar, is where they were hiding them in the Clone Wars. But that's pretty much the equivalent of what the Jedi were doing. No, I mean, so is there a moral imperative, or do the Jedi automatically have a moral high ground to be doing the same thing? I mean, literally both sides were taking babies from their mothers and fathers and raising them for a certain, dogmatic.
Were the Sith doing that at the same time the Jedi were doing that? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
So a lot of those ones that you saw in the Clone Wars are the ones that end up being seventh sister, fifth brother, all that kind of stuff. some of those were the ones that ended up doing that. So
But
yeah, they were
weren't those Inquisitors fallen Jedi though?
a lot of them were.
Okay.
But I mean, Palpatine was doing this. They were stealing babies, and they got a bunch of them back. But yeah, so I mean, it's the same thing, right?
I
Yeah,
feel that.
it's-
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Michelle.
I was gonna say I feel like Simplified Danny has a good question after we finish this.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh yeah.
the Raylo question? That's the Raylo
Yeah.
question. Yeah, so we'll get off the babies right now. We'll let sleeping babies lie.
I mean, I
right
think
now.
that
Let
question's
sleeping babies
I
lie.
think that question's the great mystery, is it not? I mean, do we know who she was supposed to end up with?
Okay, Danny. I think we're going to agree here. I did like Raylo. I'll be honest. When they kissed and he smiled at her and he'd come back to his true self, I kind of loved it. Michelle looked at it more as like
It was a thank you kiss.
a thank you kiss. But yeah, I
I
like.
hate those.
I mean, the dude had just given her life. I mean, I would kiss him too. I mean,
So let's talk a little bit about Raylo. But there's a very interesting comment in here by Jesse, and let me put it up. And I want you guys to read this because it's definitely in your wheelhouse here. So I'll read it. I view the original intention of the no attachment rule in the vein of Luke 14:26 that says, "If anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, brothers and sisters, such a person cannot be my disciple."
yeah, I think I get what he's saying. I think that's definitely what they were going for. But Jesus is also giving extreme parables there
Yeah.
because he picked disciples that were married. Peter was married, multiple of them were married, and he didn't literally mean
Yeah, I don't
hate
think he
your brother.
expected them to hate their family.
Yeah, it was just, that God has to be first. Which again, compare using that though, that is a good thought. It's like the Jedi thing could have been, the Force could be first in their life, and they still could have had relationships.
Sure. Yeah. Good comment there, Jesse. Thank you very much for that. But she's got a follow up here. It's not literally about hating the person. It's about recognizing that a person's relationship to and submission to God is still the priority. And from a certain point of view,
That's
you
not
are
a
correct.
conflict of interest.
This is deep.
How is that? That's not a conflict of interest. How you can be a Force loving Jedi and still have a relationship. I don't see
Yeah.
how those are mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think that was one of the I mean, because let's face it, if you look through the prequels, George was setting up the Jedi to be wrong to a degree, like to have a lot right, but to also have some wrong. And I think that was one of the areas that they were too dogmatic and too harsh on, and it cost them.
Especially as they release more and more stories where all these Jedi are having side relationships.
Yes, yeah,
So they're all a bunch of hypocrites.
yeah.
Cam Ray is absolutely right. Love has no limits.
Amen.
Yeah.
And speaking of love, how
I
about
think
that?
speaking
How
of
about
Cam.
those? No.
You got some great stuff coming out on Twitter these days.
Sure, yeah. But the situation with Raylo, early on we had fans that were really interested in seeing Rey and Kylo get together at the end. We didn't know what was going to happen before the Rise of Skywalker. There was a lot of talk on the internet, but it was a little bit controversial. People were talking about that relationship as kind of an abusive, invasive relationship, especially after The Force Awakens, when Kylo seemed to, violate, Rey by, penetrating deep inside her mind and going.
Wasn't that Snoke?
No. During the when she was strapped to the that
Oh yeah,
metal chair,
That's true. Yeah.
So
Ray did not consent.
Yeah.
right.
And I'm a fourth grader over here.
So what do you guys think about that relationship? And I know, we've got the events that happened with the Rise of Skywalker, where I'm still kind of up in the air on that relationship. Um, what do you guys think? What happened there?
Well, I will say this. I thought The Force Awakens possibly set up her and Finn a little bit. I mean, and it also could have just been friendship. It could have gone either way. As in the end of the first one, Leia looks at both Luke and Han, kind of like, which one will I go for? So I kind of thought they were setting that up, but then there was undeniable chemistry between Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver, in my opinion, especially in that elevator scene, and then ultimately the throne room scene. But and there are little connections. I mean, that too. To where like I would have been fine with it in a way, in a movie sense, but if you think in reality, you wouldn't be fine with it because at the end of the day, Kylo was like a mass murderer. And here's the bottom line.
As we said before, I guess I like the bad boys.
In a real situation, had Kylo lived, he would have at probably best case scenario been like exiled. I mean, I don't know. Like the galaxy's just flat out not forgiving that you were, kind of responsible for like millions dying. I mean, so that's just not.
It's not a great record.
It's not. As much as I still his end touches me and I love it. I feel like they almost had to repeat the Vader death thing because they had killed so many people. It was just an easier way to handle their redemption.
And Danny, yeah, I really liked I viewed their relationship as a redemptive love. I really like that. I think that's kind of how I interpreted it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it in many aspects and would have been fine with it. But then as you think deeper into it, it's like, I understand where Disney was also in a tough situation there of, do we want to be the message to little girls or not?
I see your point when I think about that. Yeah.
You can't always ride away in the sunset on the back of a Harley with your man.
No, that's not life.
That sounds like a really bad Hallmark card, but I see them more as kindred spirits. I think they did well as kindred spirits, and kindred spirits don't always have to be, in a romantic relationship. So I think they did the kindred spirit thing really well. So I'm with Danny on, romantic. No, too much drama there, too much history there. That relationship did not start off well with the interrogation. But I want to take 1 second to kind of defend, Reylos, I guess they're called, or Reylo advocates, whatever you want to call them, because I think they really, now, of course, there's people on the fringe of any fandom. We all know that, but they got attacked really bad, I think, over the last couple years. And, again, let's one more time, we're talking about fiction here. So, if that's what you, as Ro likes to say, ship, if that's what you ship, then so be it. For some reason, that story connects with you for whatever reason, whatever part of your personality or your history, or your mental state right now, that it connects with you. So I don't think they should have gotten the bad rap that they did, and let them enjoy whatever they like.
Well, and in their defense, like I will say this, Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, there was genuine, much more chemistry between the two of them than there was Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen. Like
100%.
Night and day more.
Well, and I was going to
100%.
say, am I the only one that thinks there was like a tangible physical attraction between the two at times?
I mean, I think there was.
If you look at the behind the scenes, they didn't mind filming together. So
because you see that on screen.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. The word kinship was mentioned a couple of minutes ago. They kind of went through the same thing with, a little bit of abuse. But do you guys think that their characters went through similar abusive aspects of their lives? And then culminating to what we saw in The Rise of Skywalker? I think, there was a diversion in what Disney wanted to relate as characters, as that relationship. For a long time, you didn't know if if it was going to be romantic. You didn't know if it's going to be, anything other than that. It was, and I think that's what confused me, watching, the three movies unfold as they did. Adam Driver's, Kylo Ren is a very strong character, and by the time we realize that, you kind of look at him different because you realize what he's gone through between, Snoke's manipulation and growing up a Solo / Skywalker. It's I don't know if their characters kind of were going on along the same path, for them to kind of meet at the middle at the end of this trilogy. Do you guys feel that there were certain connections, certain points that connected with them together, or was it just too parallel?
I think that's a really good point. And if you think about it in some ways, in different ways, I mean, they took different paths and had very different lives, but it's like they were both kind of tortured souls in a way. And maybe that's my thing with Kylo Ren. And I love a good redemption story. I mean, I do. I mean, I think a lot of humans do. It's just part of who we are. But gosh, my brain tonight. But he totally redeemed himself. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, thinking about Disney, though, I mean, it could have been a Beauty and the Beast situation. I mean, it could have been their version of that.
And maybe some women subconsciously, from a bad boyfriend or bad relationship, we have that like subconscious fantasy that guy that was a nightmare, like maybe all of a sudden one day he'll wake up and be wonderful and look at us with eyes of love.
Well, but that's probably not going to happen.
It doesn't usually happen.
And that's the
maybe it's subconscious.
That's the danger there of that relationship, and
Right.
probably why Disney ultimately did not go that route. I think the honest truth with Ben Solo or with Kylo Ren, you honestly have a hard time. It's more in the other material believing he's as bad as he actually is, because he has such tender moments with Rey in this trilogy. So you almost forget how terrible he's actually been.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned in the chat Finn and Rey, and I like that romantically. I like that option much better, and I think JJ set that one up. I think they had a very cute, I would call it cute relationship in episode 7. The whole boyfriend, you got a cute boyfriend. Droid, please. But I think they had it was fun then, but you could see that they deeply cared for each other, and there was no torture involved or interrogations involved, enhanced interrogation involved in that relationship. So I like Finn and Rey as a romantic relationship, and I would have liked to have seen. Now we talk about redemption, and you mentioned that he would have been exiled. The Star Wars universe doesn't really follow the same rules as ours as far as what people can get away with or forgiven for. I would have liked to have seen Rey and Kylo leading up to a new Jedi Order together, and of course we've talked about Gray Jedi or whatever you want to call them. That Bendu theme. I would have liked to have seen them both as headmasters of the new Jedi Order working side by side. So I see them as more of they have more professional, shall we say, relationship. And, I think Finn and Rey would have been a much better fit.
Well, I want to say that because I brought that up because I feel like JJ definitely set that up in 7, and then we got the Rose and Finn disastrous kiss and in The Last Jedi, and then they're setting up the Kylo and that thing. But I think it's kind of like you said there. I mean, there's definitely tension there, and like I said, they've got more chemistry together than Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen did for sure. But that doesn't take much. But I said this to a friend. I said that Kylo's the type of guy you have fun with, and Finn's the guy you marry. Like that was my wording in that. Like you marry Finn. Like Finn's the good guy, and you're right. They have a very deep, on an emotional level, just as deep or more deep than Kylo and her. Kylo and her have this weird Force connection, and this destiny that's like intertwined, where her and Finn have just truly a genuine human connection.
Well,
Yeah,
and
and-
I love how Finn loves her.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
my gosh, she does.
And don't you think they kind of left that open ended? Like, you never know, like, if they got together, after that. I mean, I know they were first and foremost friends, of course, but I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
And his secret was, I guess, according to the novelization, that he was in fact force sensitive
Yeah,
that entire time. So they could have had good little, Jedi babies together.
That's right.
And, some people wanted to see Poe and Finn together, and as you said, Poe and Finn had more chemistry than what Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman did. So, I don't think that's their fault, though. I blame the writing and directing of George on that one. But
Yeah, I think you had to pick, and I'm not going to blame any of them, but you already had Natalie Portman. So when you were casting Anakin, they had to have chemistry with Natalie Portman, or it just wasn't going to work, because this relationship is literally critical to this trilogy. But we got what we got.
And she's a good actress.
Oh, she's a great
So
actress.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, who knows?
well,
I just think the lines were clunky. I mean,
Yeah.
Sad.
if you turn the Rose and Finn kiss into two movies, that's what it would have looked like. What was their entire relationship?
speaking of Rose and Finn, I mean, what are there any other relationships that are as awkward as Rose and Finn want it to be? It's just kind of like goes out in a left field.
Well, I know there's one. It's when Leia's going to show Han off, so she gives her brother quite a big kiss.
Yeah, but we didn't know it at the time.
But
Chewbacca
now,
knew it. You see Chewbacca mumble right there? And R2 knew it. There was a couple people in the room that knew. They knew.
and even then, being brother and sister, it's now equal to Finn and Rose.
Yeah, there's some folks in the chat. I agree. Like if you look at the pictures, the still frames, or if you look at the behind the scenes of the prequels, Hayden and Natalie, they had fun together. They actually had chemistry, but it was just the writing and directing was just so off. That's why it didn't work. So I don't blame the actors necessarily on that one. Hey, I just killed an entire village here, have some blue milk and cookies. I blame the dialogue, not them as actors.
Well,
I think you're right on that.
and a point I will make on that, I know Harrison Ford, when they were doing A New Hope, like they said something, he was like, these lines are terrible, basically.
Yeah, you can write this, you can't say it.
Yes, exactly. So I do think that I mean, the whole sand line, but that Anakin
She'll
gives, I mean, it's just so bad. It's unbelievable. So I think that was a lot of it. The writing, those lines were really bad.
I mean, it's like if you're like, this computer, it's so silvery and smooth. I mean,
It's so romantic.
That was pretty.
Robot Chicken.
That was pretty hot.
Robot
Natalie.
Chicken has a good one though. Robot Chicken has the best Anakin and Padme scene, but
Yeah.
you guys can Google that one.
we'll have to do that.
I'm just a senator.
Yeah.
It's completely inappropriate, and everybody's gonna love it. So you'll thank me later.
Well, and do we want to bring up another relationship in Star Wars that's intriguing, which Natalie's not seen because she's not seen Clone Wars, but as Obi-Wan had a little romance on the side.
He's a player, man. Obi-Wan's always been a player.
Definitely.
For that one.
The relationships with the relationships that are not part of the films are some of the really good ones. I mean, obviously we talked about Skywalker and Mara Jade. But Obi-Wan and Satine, a lot of speculation there. And I wonder if we're going to, see any more additional information regarding that. I know, we're going to get an Obi-Wan series. I wonder if they're going to, touch on that. But what other relationships do we have? We've got,
Well, it would all be the cartoons or books at that point.
right. Yeah.
And I will say this, I thoroughly loved, and that's why I said, when I even kind of emailed you, Ro, about talking about this, it was fine, the sequel trilogy with the way it went, that's fine. But Disney has now done how many movies? We got 5. And I mean, you have Kira and Han Solo, but that one's going to have to end. there's not really been a romance in any of their movies. And at some point, it'd be, again, going back to Han and Leia, I think that's what made it so large and got so many people on board. It's just an element that brings in another layer of people that will enjoy it.
Well, and like we said, I think friendship is the heart,
Yes.
but it doesn't hurt anything to have a good romance for people that are, bigger romance fans, maybe.
Yeah, I think in good trilogies like The Hunger Games, even The Matrix, we just watched those. I mean, so many of them, Star Wars, they have a romance element because that's what allows them to bring in so many more people.
Yeah, Indiana Jones and Marion Ravenwood. I just talked to the science fiction area about that trilogy, or the quadrilogy, I guess, because Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. But yeah, I mean, Solo is a very different romance because, like, you're right. That relationship has to end sometimes because we know that by the time we meet him in A New Hope, he's alone. He's solo, if you catch my meaning. But yeah, another relationship people are talking about is also from that movie is Lando and L3. And I don't know if we want to go there.
Oh yeah.
What the heck?
Was there not like some chemistry there?
I mean, what was Lucasfilm going for on that one?
And
Can we just be real?
I literally had the thought, like, how does that work?
Well, literally, Kier says that.
Oh, it works.
That
It
works.
works.
Yeah. That seems a little odd.
It's a little awkward.
And Lando, he just let's just be real. I guess Disney wanted to make it different, but I mean, Lando is just a ladies' man. That is Billy D. Williams' vibe. Like, that man,
He's smooth.
he's smooth. And I mean, he didn't care that Han was right there next to Leia. He was
Yeah.
going for it.
He had game.
He did.
If I don't say WD-40, I feel like it would just be a missed opportunity right now. So I'll just say it and we'll move on. So WD-40, and we lost Natalie.
That's
All
how
right.
you make it work.
WD-40, but people in the chat are mentioning Dark Disciple.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Fantastic book. And that was supposed to be one of the original arcs in the Clone Wars before it got cut off the first time. And fantastic job turning that into a novelization. Obviously, there's all kinds of good things in Dark Disciple. Again, more moral issues with the Jedi Order and when assassination becomes okay. When the Jedi say so, I guess that's when assassination becomes okay. But both Quinlan Voss and Asajj Ventress, very troubled characters. And again, this is one of those kindred spirits type stories. But those were kindred spirits, which I think would have had a very good relationship. I don't want to give too much away. I'll just say if you're in the chat, no, I'm not going to explain that joke from a certain point of view. I refuse. I said it and we moved on. That's it. But yeah, I don't want to give away too much about Dark Disciple. Definitely give it a read, though.
Incredible book. Love that book. And I will say, I think I can say this without spoiling. I think that's a good comparison to the Reylo thing. And again, I would have in many ways been happy with Reylo. They had good chemistry. I liked Ben Solo. But I could have been happy with it. But I do think Finn overall is more marriage material. But going back to Dark Disciple, it's a little different if you compare that to Reylo, because Quinlan Voss and Asajj has not really done anything to him. She's already even kind of leaving the dark as she meets him. So their love just kind of pull each other towards the middle in a way. So I find it a little less abusive in a way. I think, so I think it works a little easier for me.
Yeah, let's get back to a little bit more of traditional relationships. We've got Amanda's comment that talks a little bit about Kanan Jarrus and Hera. We know how that ended up, and I think it was kind of an enjoyable thing to see their relationship blossom in Rebels. I think that entire family, that entire crew was a lot of fun to kind of get to know, from the beginning of that series. What do you guys think of Rebels and the relationships in that, specifically Kanan and Hera?
I loved it. I only wish that we would have gone a little bit of more of it, honestly.
I was
Yeah.
I was going to say something a little bit. I mean, I loved it, but I was going to say I like how much they didn't put on screen. I just think it worked. They alluded to it in the novel that came out. What was the name of that one? The one that came out at the start of the series. But I like that you knew that there was a relationship there, but it was something that obviously happened behind closed doors, not to interfere with their the rebel cause there. But you knew it was there, and when they finally kind of showed a little bit of it, and I think it was just the last season.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mhm.
it was like it meant a lot when they actually showed it on screen. So I think they did it pretty well in that case.
They did it really well. I mean, it's
Oh, thank you.
there's such a tenderness to that relationship. And like I said, at that final episode where you realize that they had a child together, it was just your mind can kind of fill things in without you being shown it. So the relationship, the growth of not only them two but the entire crew of the Ghost was a fantastic thing to kind of watch, and then kind of like maybe fill in the blanks too on your own. But it's whatever it is that you thought of, I think somehow it was validated by how these two kind of grew together within their relationship, their love, and it was really nice to see. It was really nice to see, that kind of develop.
Yeah, I agree. That I mean, Dave Filoni just did such a great job with the relationships of the whole crew because Hera and Kanan, they're really like parents to Sabine and Ezra too. So there's just so many different. And then what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? The big
Zeb.
yeah, Zeb is kind of like their brother, everyone's brother. So it's
Creepy uncle, more of a creepy uncle.
yeah, he can kind of be like that. I mean, so I just think he did a great job because, again, if you don't get relationships right, friendships, but when I say relationships, I mean friendships right, then you don't get Star Wars. That's why, to me, what by the end of, say, in The Mandalorian, by that final episode, we have our core group now. Like
Yeah.
that, we kind of need them, in my opinion. The Mandalorian, it's obviously him and the child for the most part, but even him and Cara Dune and Grief Karga, to me, I want that because that's Star Wars.
Like
to
they're
me.
they're the gang now.
Yeah, like those again, just it's not Star Wars without those deep, meaningful friendships.
And putting your neck on the line to help
For
somebody
them.
else.
Yes.
Yeah, there's an interesting comment that I'd like to kind of touch on, the tragedy of relationships. Can we talk about how every canon couple has ended in tragedy? But I think that's also part of humanity. That's also part of the evolution of relationships. When you get married, you take your vows. Love you till death do you part. It's an eventuality, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it ends in tragedy. Yeah. But I've been trying to think of now that we had that comment, I've been trying to think of one that didn't end in tragedy, but nothing comes to mind off the top of my head.
I just saw that comment.
Jar Jar Binks and Queen Julia.
Oh my God. And Danny, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to fight you on that. I agree that Han and Chewie is the best, and that's why we talked,
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago about how even though his life debt ended with Han, he still stuck with the rebellion or the resistance instead of going back to Kashyyyk.
Yeah. And not that now I want to get Ro fired up here. Not to get on to The Last Jedi, but that's one of the things that I did not that's one of the things that I did not buy when after he knows Han is dead and after he knows Leia has sent them to come get him, found him by the piece of the map that he left, by the way. And he's not willing to come. I don't buy that Luke would not go to his sister. I don't. And I know he ultimately does in his own way, but I don't feel like he would even take that long to get there.
Not in person.
That's true. and yeah, tell
He
him
was social distancing.
he was. He was saving lives.
6 light years away. Steps, please.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that a lot of people had issues with. The relationship between Luke and Han and Luke and Leia during the. He dropped everything when he was training with Yoda to save them, and then now he's gonna be like, whatever. I'm with you. I just don't buy it, but it is what it is.
They did have that sweet. Now, given that he wasn't actually there, but when he leans down and kisses her on the head, like I thought that was a really sweet moment. To somebody's point at the beginning of the chat about like siblings and their relationship, because often siblings. Sadly, sometimes not for everybody in every family, but like my brother and sister, I really do consider like my best friends, and I like to think they kind of thought that way about each other. Once they got past the awkward kiss and stuff.
She's talking about them.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, okay, I got a little confused, but some people too. They were talking about how during the part in this, was it The Last Jedi where he goes into the Falcon and he sees R2-D2 and R2-D2 pulls out the hologram of Leia again.
Of the movie.
That's probably. That would have been so perfect for him to say, you know what, gosh darn it, I'm going to go and try and save my family, because it's the only person that's left. At that point, Han was dead already. He really had no one except for her. So, but like I said, it is what it is. But what other relationships do you guys want to talk about?
Somebody just mentioned it. The Mandalorian in the child.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Bring it up to the present.
Yeah. We don't know what's going to happen with that. I think everybody's going to cry their eyes out once he delivers the child to his people, and whether it's other Yodas or the Jedi. I have a feeling it's going to be other Force sensitives, but we'll have to wait and see. But that moment, I think, is going to be very interesting. The IG-11 was such a kind of a character that ended up, carrying a lot for the child. And when he was destroyed, not a dry eye was in the house.
If you weren't Misty at that point, I question your humanity.
Yeah. So once the story is all over, that's going to be very emotional.
I do, think he will be trained by someone, but what if Dave Filoni recognizes the mistakes of the old Jedi, and Ahsoka, assuming it's Ahsoka, she recognizes it too, because she saw firsthand the devastation it caused, and she doesn't make little baby Yoda just totally have nothing to do with Mando. Because I do think they've already given us clues by the end of season 1 that they're in it to win it together. Like them being made a clan of 2. Like I truly think they're kind of letting us know. Like
I think Mando is his people.
Yeah. Like Baby Yoda's almost now just a little Mandalorian himself in his way. Like I think that you almost can't separate him, even if he does go with Ahsoka and learn for a while, but they'll still have relationship.
Yes, Danny, I like to think that as well.
Yeah.
I kind of go with that in a way.
Like when all is said and done, like maybe there's some, like Michelle said, some training in between and stuff like that, but they're going to be a family.
Because again, if it's Ahsoka knows, she saw firsthand with her beloved Anakin what that can cause, that detachment. And she's not a Jedi of old. As she says in Rebels, I'm no Jedi.
Think of the gang: Ahsoka, Sabine, Rex, Mando, and the child. You don't get a cooler family than that. People were saying the other night they didn't want to see a Rebels get together. That's why I argued with it then. I think that would be an awesome family to see on screen.
Yeah, I think Filoni will do it in a way we'll all enjoy it.
So yeah, let me ask you this. You guys mentioned how Ahsoka really, is kind of a new Jedi, or at least someone that was alive during the, point in time where, she kind of saw the Jedi lose their way. So, I'm still puzzled as to what this story means to the overall narrative of Star Wars. And obviously, if we didn't have the sequel trilogy to know what happened in the future, per se, the future of the Mandalorian story, then I probably wouldn't question it as much. But if Ahsoka or whoever is training these new Jedi or these new Force sensitives, at the end of this Mandalorian story, something must have happened. Something tragic must have happened, because we know that there are no Jedi during the sequel trilogy. Or is there another age of storytelling that needs to happen that obviously, again, ends in tragedy, because there's still no Jedi in the sequel trilogy, and the somehow Palpatine survived and all that stuff. So where is this going?
Could that
I'm going
not?
to say that.
I was like, would you be satisfied if they said that those were part of the people that Kylo killed on that night?
No. Baby Yoda would throw Kylo Ren across the.
Yeah, right.
So would Ahsoka. I think Ahsoka would too.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say there's a loophole. Yeah, Baby Yoda is going to force choke him. He's not messing with him.
Baby.
But I think there's a loophole, because at this point, because they created the Ahsoka character, we know Ahsoka is alive throughout the original trilogy, but yet Luke is presented as the only hope. Like, there's no one else. It's this guy or nothing. And my point is of course, at the time that was the case, but they decided to make this other character. So we all have to accept, Ahsoka was just somewhere doing nothing. I don't know. But, or I guess looking for it. No, she doesn't go looking for Ezra until after, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like that. They just kind of won't talk about it, but he'll be alive.
I think it's, the Jedi, the ones that went in hiding. I don't think that they were just hiding just to, I guess they were hiding to stay alive and to kind of survive, but they must have been waiting for something to happen. Something like, the return, similar to the return of a Messiah, something that has to happen in order for the galaxy to kind of, come back into the fold, into normalcy. But again, it hasn't happened because the First Order rules supreme. So again, where is this going? Like, we know what's going to happen eventually. I'm just like really confused. That gap between not only, Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, but now we've got a little extra there to pad it out after Return of the Jedi. What's going to happen that causes the galaxy to just kind of, collapse on itself and kind of start from scratch?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. At this point, The Mandalorian's just kind of staying away from the sequel trilogy for the most part. It's very much more rooted in OT. So we'll see what they do.
Old Testament.
No.
Nice.
It is nowadays. But
Right.
there's 25 years there, Ro. You're not going to get you're not going to get your answer. It's going to have some ending. But I still think it'll be completely disconnected from the sequel trilogy.
I want to point out, Luke was knocked out after the Kylo situation. How do we know they all died? Because Kylo said it? Just as Kylo told Rey she was a nobody.
Oh, true. Yeah.
That some of them could have gone the heck out of there when it was on fire and burning. We don't know. Baby Yoda might have stopped the fire like he does in the end of Mandalorian. He saved them all and they're all alive. And Kylo thought they were dead and just wanted to sound like a tough guy. So said he killed them all. I don't know.
See, whenever we don't know the answer, I just look at the world between worlds as kind of like our cloud, our iCloud, so whenever we don't know what happened, they just went to the world between worlds. And whenever we need them, they can just come back out and we can start over.
That is nice.
Yeah.
That's what I've wondered, because I mean, I think we fail to realize this galaxy is so large. Like the First Order, could there possibly be places that they don't really know about the First Order? I mean, possibly, because it's so large. I don't know. Dave Filoni can come up with something that we'll accept.
True. True. Yeah. So who knows? And the fact that we're getting more Star Wars story, I think is a good thing. Really looking forward to the Cassian series. Really looking forward to Obi-Wan, and this Mandalorian season 2 looks phenomenal. So kudos to Lucasfilm and Disney for giving us more good Star Wars, and I really do hope it's good Star Wars. But let's wait and see.
The key takeaway from tonight that people can answer on Twitter, now that we know two different species can have children together, which two species in the Star Wars universe would have the homeliest baby pictures? So you can submit your answers to Red 5 Network or Force of Light or to the Scarab Scuttlebutt.
That actually would be a good challenge for Cam Ray and
I
his
think so, too.
Photoshop school skills.
I'm gonna go with Wookiees and Hutts to start off with. So if you can top Wookiees and Hutts getting together, then I applaud you.
I can tell you the cutest species would be Baby Yoda and Ewoks, probably. I don't know.
Gosh, yes.
I think that would be cute.
You
but-
get Gizmo or Gremlins. They would have.
Yeah, it would be little Gizmo. It would be.
So you win, I guess, for cutest.
Awesome. Well, that was a very great discussion. I think people in the chat enjoyed it. Any final thoughts on relationships and love in the Star Wars universe?
No, just that they gave me one of my favorite romances in all of movies, and Han and Leia.
I think it's your favorite.
It is like my favorite. I mean, the I know is an iconic scene, and the relationships again is key with Star Wars. It
is.
doesn't matter how many lightsabers, gunslinging you have, if you don't have core
That's what keeps it
friendships,
grounded.
that's what makes Star Wars Star Wars. So I'm just hoping in the future, and I already see that in The Mandalorian as far as friendship. I hope in the future they add another special romance too down the road.
Yes. Cara
Yeah.
Dune and Mando? Maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's definitely potential for new relationships, and like you said, it's Star Wars is about relationships, between families, friends. So it's very exciting, Star Wars in the future. Brad,
Never forget the relationship between Anakin and Rex, and screw Cody.
poor Cody,
Yeah,
poor Cody.
sheep.
All right, folks. Force of Light. Let everybody know where they can find you. If people are not familiar, I think everybody's familiar with you, but let's give you guys a shout out. Where are you guys at?
Yes. Well, first of all, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we have some things that are strictly YouTube only events. But then also you can find us all place podcasts are, and we are on Twitter and Instagram at Force of Light Entertainment. And at the
Excellent.
red5network.com.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, part of our Red 5 Network family. So good to have you guys on here. And Brad and I are 2/3 of the Scarab Scuttlebutt podcast. Sometimes we get Alex on board. We talk all things Star Wars, having a lot of fun with the Scarab Scuttlebutt podcast. We recently just received an email that we are also on, what was it? Amazon Music. I think Amazon Music is doing some new stuff. So we just added the podcast there. I think a lot of folks are doing that as well. But everywhere you find your favorite podcast, search for the Scarab Scuttlebutt podcast. We'd love to hear what you guys think. We also have a hotline, 773-234-8659. Give us a shout out. We love to kind of include those voicemails in our shows. So, folks, please give us a call at 773-234-8659. Operators are standing by 24/7. Not really, but it's automated. You can just kind of leave your
They're
message
droids.
there. They're droids. Oh, Brad, any last thoughts? I know we had a long week. It's Friday, and this has been a really good week for content for everybody. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been nice to end on a lighter note. I think we kept it as light as we could on our show here. So we're supposed to say smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell thingy so you're notified of these things in the future. And don't forget to follow us on Scarif Podcast and tell your friends about Scarif Podcast. Friends don't let friends not follow the Scuttlebutt. So
You don't want to miss these guys. I'm telling you.
and don't forget to go to red5network.com. Ro has put the rules for the Darksaber giveaway. I tossed some real softball questions at you for our latest Century mode. So just follow those quick rules. It should take you a good 37 seconds to enter this contest. And you could win that Darksaber that Ro's probably going to break before it gets to you.
I don't know how to turn it off.
It's a common problem of yours, Ro. I know.
I'm always on.
Moff Gideon has the same issues. He's not figured out how to turn it off yet. That's why he got out of the TIE fighter with it. He couldn't turn it off. It was on the whole time. So.
But yeah, it's we're getting some good feedback and some good responses on that giveaway. We love to give stuff away. We also, I don't know if I totally forgot. I don't know if we want to, before we leave, do we want to, I know people have already left the chat because the number went down, but they're lost. You guys want to give away a Stormtrooper tonight?
Go for it.
Let's do it. Excellent. Let's see.
You can just send it my way. How big is that? That's
It's
not
a
a
Black
Black. Is it a Black Series?
Yeah. It's just the packaging is different. I mean, this is how dumb we are. I already have like 7 Black Series Stormtroopers, but the packaging is real nice, so I had to get another one.
Had to.
Yeah, it's the same size as the Black Series, but this one's the Star Wars The Mandalorian edition. Let's see. I don't know if you want to pop a question in the chat and see.
Yeah,
if,
I was thinking about a relationship based question.
Scarif swag.
Yeah, I have one. I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
it may be really easy. When Han is unfrozen out of carbonite and he says, "Who are you?" What does Leia say to him?
That's good. First one to answer wins.
I know the answer.
Natalie's like, I know.
That's also one of the greatest memes too. I don't know if you've seen that. Where he gets. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh,
Yes.
Amanda!
Amanda gets it because Cam had a typo. Someone who loves you. Do you guys know? Yes, it was someone who loves you, but in the meme is one of the greatest memes, and he responds Chewie, and then it just says, directed by George Lucas. It just goes to the credits because it says Chewie. But do you guys know who did the voice for Leia while she's in the Bausch outfit?
No.
It's a great story, and I don't know her name. I think you can probably find it on YouTube. But it's gosh, I can't remember where I saw her interview, but it was like an 80-year-old, somewhere around 80, 85-year-old lady, and she has a very raspy voice, and that is actually her voice. And
It's Marge.
Yeah, they just digitized it a little bit, but they say that she's like the sweetest lady you'll ever meet, and that was her actual voice that they used for Leia while she was in that mask.
Yeah, I did not know that. That's cool.
Was she a smoker?
For about 80 years, yeah.
You know how those old women smoker? They get okay. I'm not going to say an
No,
imitation.
she wasn't talking through her throat. It wasn't that bad. It was
So
close.
who won the figure?
That was Amanda.
Oh, Amanda. Excellent, Amanda.
So Cam Ray loses for the typo.
Yeah, someone who lives you. I don't know what that even means. What does that mean?
But everyone in the chat, if you guys are still in the chat, and go ahead and direct message us over at the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. I'll mail out a couple of Scarif Scuttlebutt stickers, and they'll be heading out your way if you guys want. I'd be happy to send them out for our chat people tonight.
And I just have to say, this chat was really awesome tonight.
Yeah.
Like you guys
Yeah.
rock.
You all do.
We are only as good as our guests. So
Oh.
you guys
Yeah.
rock too.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us. I was so excited to talk about this.
We fall
Yeah.
pretty flat on our own.
Definitely. But thank you guys again. Again, if you guys head over to red5network.com, the number 5, check out all of our, the Red Squadron, Gold Squadron members of the podcast family.
Pat Welsh got an answer. Jesse has an answer. Pat Welsh is the actress.
Oh, nice.
Check her out, Pat Welsh, and you probably find it on YouTube where she gives an interview about it, and like you listen to her talk, and she's like, it's really awesome.
That's hilarious. Awesome. All right, guys. Any last items? But I think we had a really great show. Thank you guys. And again, thank you guys for your patience in the chat. I know we started a little late. I was out doing some other stuff, but everybody wanted to talk about this topic. I think patience is a virtue, as they say. But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It built anticipation.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. Maybe I'll do that next time. I'll do that all the time. Just to kind of
Fashionably late.
I do it to Michelle all the time.
Yeah, every time.
Excellent. All right, guys, everybody in the chat, may the force be with you, and we'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to give us a follow. Force of Light, Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast, Red 5 Network. May the force be with you. Ladies, you know how we end our show. We're going to let you guys do it this time around.
And that's the scuttlebutt.